Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community, and 7 questions with Emmy.
Hey guys, welcome back to 7 Questions. Today I'm interviewing Robert Irwin. He's joining me from the Australia Zoo.
G'day, thank you so much for having me. It's an honour to get to talk to you. And yes, we're here at Australia Zoo at our Australia Zoo Wildlife Hospital, where we take care of all the injured animals that we find in our local area.
You might know his dad, Steve, as the crocodile hunter who sadly passed away in 2006. Now Robert is following in his steps. Thanks so much for talking with me, Robert.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for having me. It's awesome. I've gotten to see a couple of your interviews before, and you're doing such an awesome job. And yeah, it's so good to get to talk to you and chat all things wildlife and conservation and everything that we get up to here at Australia Zoo.
It's 4:00 on Thursday afternoon right now. What time is it where you are?
So here it is 9 a.m. on a Friday. So we're in the future here. It's pretty cool. So Friday is awesome. You're going to enjoy it. It's a great day. So look forward to it. But yeah, no, we're always kind of a day ahead here in Australia. And I actually have a lot of family in the United States. And so that's always a constant battle whenever we're Zooming or FaceTiming, is trying to work out the right time. And I end up calling people at a horrible hour where they are when it's morning time here. So yes, the time difference is always a little bit tricky.
Let's get on with the questions.
Sounds good.
Question number 1. What's your favorite animal in the zoo and why?
Ooh, that is a very difficult question, actually. We have 1,200 animals at Australia Zoo, at our wildlife sanctuary here. So it's very, very busy. A lot of mouths to feed and take care of. And my favorite animal of all time would have to be crocodiles. I love crocodiles. I wish I could have brought one today to show you, but I don't think it would have fit here on this table in front of me, so it didn't quite work. But crocs are amazing. They are my dad's favorite animal as well. They are the most beautiful animals, incredibly powerful, and there's a lot more to them than meets the eye. You know, they're not just these big hungry predators. They're actually very intelligent. They're quite affectionate with one another, and they're really, really amazing animals in general. So I love them. It's like working with dinosaurs. It's pretty cool.
I like crocodiles too.
That's good. Thank you.
Question number 2. Have you ever been bit by a crocodile or another animal? Was it scary?
Ooh, okay. I have. Yes, both. I've been bitten by a crocodile and a lot of other animals as well. Luckily, I've only ever been bitten by a very, very small crocodile that was only about this big. When we work with our crocs here at Australia Zoo, and we try and stay very, very careful and try and keep a nice safe distance for smaller ones, sometimes it's inevitable. Every now and again you get a little nip, but it's usually not too bad. I actually recently had quite a funny bite from a snake. There's a species of snake here called a carpet python. They're non-venomous, so they're not harmful to people, but I was actually rescuing him and releasing him from the side of the road and took him to a nice safe place. And as I went to set him down into the grass, he decided that he didn't like me and swung around and struck at my eye and actually bit me on the eye. So it was very uncomfortable. Luckily my eye was shut, but he grabbed me on the eye and then let go, and it bled a little bit, but it was all fine, and he got released and lived a very happy life. But yes, I don't think he liked me very much.
That sounds scary.
It was a little bit. It was very startling more than anything. But it's one of those things when you work with animals, every now and again, you might make a little mistake and you get a little bite, but it's usually not too bad.
Are you excited to become an uncle, and how are you going to spoil your little niece?
Oh, I'm extremely excited to become an uncle. I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing. I still remember so vividly hearing the news when Bindi told us that she was expecting, and I'm so excited. I have the most amazing sister and brother-in-law as well. They're just awesome. And yeah, I can't wait for all the adventures ahead. I think that for me, my job is going to be the head of fun, the director of fun. I'm going to be making sure that, you know, she's getting to feed crocs and work with snakes and ride motorbikes and do all the fun stuff that we get up to here at Australia Zoo. I might have to wait a couple of years until she's big enough to walk and do all of this. But yeah, that's going to be my job, is making sure that it's just an endless amount of fun, and I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome.
I would want to do that.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Idaho Falls?
I personally have not been to Idaho Falls, but I would love to go. Hopefully one day when we get through all this crazy COVID stuff, I'd love to come and visit Idaho Falls. But, you know, my mum has actually visited there, and she was very young. She was 8 years old. She was 8 years old when she, sorry, excuse me. It's not COVID, I promise. She was 8 years old when she visited Idaho Falls, and she remembers very vividly, she was staying next to the zoo that was there, and she remembered hearing the lions in the zoo, and she thought to herself, when she was a really little kid, she thought, wow, imagine getting to listen to this every day, living in a zoo. And then decades later, she met my dad, moved over to Australia, and now we wake up to the sound of tigers roaring in our backyard every night. And so her dream sort of came full circle. So it was really interesting. But yeah, she loved Idaho Falls.
What's your favorite American food that you don't have in Australia? And what's your favorite Australian food that we don't have in America?
Ooh, my favorite American food that we don't have in Australia. That is a really tough one. You know what I love, which is, not everyone loves it, but Twinkies. I love Twinkies. They are amazing. We don't have anything like them in Australia. They're just absolutely painfully sweet, and I don't think they're a health treat, and I don't have them very often, but every now and again when we're in America, I'll have a Twinkie, and it's amazing. So good. So that would be the one thing we don't have in Australia that I love. But then the one thing in America that you don't have, but that we have here, it would have to be Vegemite. I love Vegemite. Have you ever tried it before?
No.
It's not a very popular thing there, and it's not pleasant if you haven't experienced it before. It's a little bit gross, but once you get used to it, Vegemite is actually really, really good, and it's an Australian staple here.
What is it like running a zoo with your family?
Running a zoo is amazing. It's always extremely busy, and every day is completely different. But I think that, to put it into one word, it's just an adventure. It really is. You know, it can be very, very tricky at times, but I think having my amazing family around me all the time, I'm constantly learning from them, and it's a really, really rewarding job, because it's not just the zoo itself, but we also have a wildlife hospital where I am now, where we've taken in over 100,000 sick and injured animals, rehabilitated them, gotten them well, and then released them back out into the wild. And then we also support a lot of different conservation projects all over the world. And before all of this crazy stuff happened, and we got to travel a bit more, I got to experience all of those conservation projects over the years. You know, in Africa, we've got projects in Sumatra helping tigers. So it's a very, very busy time. And Australia Zoo itself is kind of the center of all of this work. So it's, yeah, really busy, but really fun. Plus, getting to play with animals every day is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. What characteristics do you admire in your mom and sister, Bindi?
Ooh, there's so many things that I admire about them. But I think I'd have to say just their bravery. They are two of the bravest people I know. They're just amazing. My mum and dad first started the zoo about 51 years ago now. Very, very long time ago. And she has just been amazing, making sure that all of this work that Dad started many years ago continues. And she's just led Australia Zoo through some of the tough times, you know, like we're going through now with the coronavirus and you know, keeping everything ticking over and keeping all that conservation work going. So I admire her so much for just stoically always leading the charge. It's just amazing. She's incredibly brave. And then my sister, to see her, she's always been older than me. She's 6 years older than me. And so I kind of feel like I'm constantly learning from my sister. And we've always had a really good relationship as, brother and sister. We're always having fun and teasing one another, but we've always just gotten along really, really well. And so, it's awesome to see her now kind of running Australia Zoo as well with my mum. And they are such a great team. And for me, being the youngest member of the Irwin family, until Bindi has her baby, I'm still the youngest. It's really inspiring for me to get to see them every day working hard and keeping all of this going. And hopefully, when I grow up, if I'm half as brave as my mum is and my sister, I would be incredibly happy with that.
Now it's time for some bonus questions.
Bonus questions. Ooh, I'm excited.
What is your favorite ice cream?
Favorite ice cream? Oh, it'd be between two, chocolate or chocolate chip mint. The mint choc chip. Those are my two favorites. I'd probably lean towards mint choc chip. What about you? What's your favorite?
I like cookie dough and mint chocolate chip too.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's good. Cookie dough is quite good. It's quite good.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing to do at the zoo?
Favorite thing to do at the zoo? I reckon it'd have to be feeding crocodiles. That's my favorite. It's pretty awesome. We go in with them in their enclosure. Each croc has their own kind of little billabong area, this little lake that they have, and we'll go in and feed them and let them strike out of the water and try and get us. And it's really good for them. It's great exercise, chasing us around, and it's also a lot of fun. It's great.
What do you like to do with your family when you're not running the zoo?
What do I like to do with my family when I'm not running the zoo? Good question. Well, my brother-in-law and I are avid surfers, and so we do that quite a lot when we're not at Australia Zoo. And then for the rest of my family, there's so many things we enjoy, but to be quite honest, I think everything we do is kind of revolved around nature and wildlife. So when we're not at the zoo, we're usually hiking. We love getting outdoors and hiking. That would probably be our little family tradition.
What can we do to help animals?
That is a really wonderful question. And that's something that we're very passionate about is helping wildlife all over the world. And we actually have a non-profit organization. It's called Wildlife Warriors. And there's a lot of things that you can do with that to actually get involved. We have a program called Visionary Wildlife Warriors, which is for young people who are passionate in getting involved with conservation. And we run worldwide all kinds of fundraising projects, raising awareness for conservation, everything from beach cleanups to plant a tree day and all these really fun things. So it's always great to get involved with that. You can check out our organization there, which is pretty awesome. But also just, I think that in your own backyard, I'm really passionate in encouraging young people to really just do your part. And I think that the most important thing is starting a conversation about conservation and talking with your friends and peers about what conservation means to you, about all the problems that are facing the world and facing our wildlife, and talking about solutions, and also taking action as well, whether that's maybe cleaning up the rubbish in your local park or working to conserve water, maybe do more recycling or composting if you can. All these little things can really add up and makes a really big difference for our planet and for our wildlife as well.
If you could talk to your dad right now, what would you ask or tell him?
I think if I could talk to Dad now, I think I'd just thank him. He really started all of this and set everything that we do in motion. He, a long time ago, younger than me now, he actually first developed a passion for wildlife. And Australia Zoo, it's now on about 600 or 700 acres of land now, but it started at 4 acres. It was this tiny little wildlife park where he and his family would rescue little animals and give them a great life in this tiny little zoo, and people would come and visit. And then as he grew up, he wanted to make it bigger and better. And so eventually he started getting crocodiles. He met Mum and started doing this filming work and really just created this massive legacy and became the biggest voice in wildlife conservation. And honestly, he was the best dad ever as well. His top priority was always for me and Bindi, and he was just the most fun, enthusiastic, passionate, excitable person you could ever meet. And so I just want to say thank you for being the best dad and for starting this whole huge place, this massive legacy that we get to continue. It's such an honor.
Thank you so much for talking with me, Robert.
Thank you. It's been really great to talk to you, and I hope that one day you can come and visit us at Australia Zoo.
Toodaloo, kangaroo.
Toodaloo, that's awesome. Thank you. See you.
See ya. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, welcome back to 7 Questions with Emmy. Today I'm so excited to be talking with Bindi Irwin. She joins me all the way from the Australia Zoo. I interviewed her brother Robert a few months ago, and now his beautiful sister is here. Bindi, it's so nice to see you today.
Hi, love. It's so good to see you. I am so excited to be talking to you today. My brother Robert absolutely loved chatting to you. He had so much fun and was so excited to tell me all about it. So I'm really lucky that I get to talk to you as well. Thank you.
Let's get started with the questions.
Okay.
Question number 1. What is your favorite thing to do at the Australia Zoo?
Oh, my favorite thing to do here at Australia Zoo. Well, I love spending time with all of our beautiful animals. It is wonderful because we actually live right in the middle of Australia Zoo. So our beautiful Australia Zoo gardens are our backyard. It's spectacular. So I love walking around the zoo and spending time with all of our sweet animals. And I've just recently had a daughter, and my beautiful baby girl, Grace Warrior, loves meeting the animals too. She loves seeing the tortoises and patting the koalas. So now for me as a new mama, I get to watch her joy and excitement to see all of the animals at Australia Zoo, and it makes me really, really happy. Plus, we're really lucky because we get to share our family of animals with everybody who comes to visit. And we've had people visit us from all over the world, from all different walks of life. And it's so much fun to watch everybody's connection with our animals because everyone has a favorite. And whether it's, feeding the giraffes or kissing the wombats, you connect with a certain animal and then that's it. You're just set for life. So it's really fun. And I love watching that magic. But I have to ask, what's your favorite animal?
I like pandas.
Oh, you like pandas. We have red pandas here at Australia Zoo. And we've just recently started a red panda breeding program. And we're thinking that one of our red pandas may be pregnant. Maybe. So we're a little bit excited to have little tiny baby red pandas because they are very fluffy.
Question number 2. Your baby Grace is so cute. What do you like best about being a mom?
Oh, thank you. She is so much fun. I love everything about being a mum. It is so much fun. And Grace is hilarious. Every day is new and different with her because she just keeps growing and changing, and she is adorable. But I have to say, my favorite thing in the world is watching the magic of everything around her through her eyes, because the world is like it's new again to her. The other day, we spent half an hour just looking at a leaf. She was sitting on the ground looking at a leaf for half an hour, just studying it, going, wow, I love this leaf. And she'd hold it close to her face and then hold it far away and then feel it. And I thought to myself, unless I had beautiful Grace, I never would have spent half an hour just looking at this leaf. And you know what? It is an amazing leaf. And we live in an incredible world where there are leaves and trees. And it's really special. So I love the fact that I get to see the world through her eyes and experience the magic all over again. And it's so much fun being her mum because I get to teach her about all of our beautiful animals. And I know that she's going to grow up to be a wildlife warrior and do great things just like you do. You are an amazing wildlife warrior as well. It's so much fun. I love everything that you're achieving.
What's your favorite animal at the zoo?
Favorite animal at the zoo? Oh my word. That's a really tough one because I love all of our animals. I feel like a little bit of a mum to all of the animals. It's hard to choose a favorite. I love them all equally. But if I was really, really pressed, I'd have to say I love echidnas. Have you seen echidnas before?
I haven't.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to try to explain what an echidna looks like, which is tough because they're pretty wild looking. So An echidna is like a blob covered in spikes, like a porcupine. They have back feet that are faced backwards. So their back feet face backwards. They have long claws, kind of toenail things. They have a really long nose called a beak. They have a super long tongue that eats ants and termites. They have teeny tiny eyes and 2 holes on the side of their head, which are kind of like their ears. They are super, super strange looking, but they can also be quite fluffy underneath those spikes. So their belly is really, really fluffy, and they have kind of like this fluffy hair in between their spines. Really wild. They are monotremes, which means that they are egg-laying mammals. And there's only 2 kinds of monotremes in the world, the echidnas and the platypus. So these guys are just wild looking, super, super wacky, so much fun to be around, and I love them. You will have to Google echidnas after we're done with this call because they're really fun to look at.
My dad just Googled it and he's showing me it right now.
Don't they look cool? They're so interesting.
They look
and I love
crazy
them.
but cool.
Totally. And that's why I love them so much, because they are weird and wonderful. And I think that they're so special because they're just unique animals. You know, there's nothing quite like them in the world, and they're found all over Australia. And what's really funny is that they live in different climates in Australia, but the echidnas that live in the really hot climates, like the Simpson Desert, they don't have a lot of hair. But then if you go to Tasmania, where it gets really cold, they are so fluffy that you can barely see those spines. They just look like a giant cotton ball walking around. It's so cute. And when they walk, they do this little waddle thing that just makes me laugh every time.
I interviewed Robert a few months ago. What's the best prank you've played on your brother growing up or lately?
The best prank I've played on my brother. Well, here's the funny thing. I get scared really easily. So my family has to tell me when they enter a room, because if they just appear, I get scared. The other day, Chandler dropped a peanut butter lid and I almost jumped out of my skin. I was so scared. So my family knows, make no sudden movements around Bindi. And because of that, I don't pull a whole lot of pranks on anybody because I don't want to be pranked in return. However, my brother did do a little bit of a prank when it came to setting up my baby girl's nursery. So what he did is he got this giant dinosaur statue. I mean, it was huge. It was taller than me. And he put it into Grace's nursery before she was born. So he was helping me set up the nursery with my husband, Chandler, and I wasn't there. So they put in this giant dinosaur sculpture and they had me close my eyes and they walked me into the nursery. And when I opened my eyes, I had no idea that there would be a giant dinosaur staring in my face. And it looked really lifelike. It was really scary. And I got such a big fright. It was terrifying. So that was quite a prank. I had to tell him to take the giant dinosaur out of Grace's nursery because I didn't want her to be afraid. It was looming over her cot. So thankfully she hadn't been born yet. But that was the biggest prank that he has pulled on me recently. So I think it's kind of pranks happen to me and I don't give them back. But it's a good question.
You should prank him sometime.
I should. You'll have to give me some good ideas. You really will.
I prank my brothers all the time, so I can help you.
I love that. Thank you. I need some good advice.
You were 8 when your dad passed away. Do you have a favorite memory with him?
Favorite memory. I have so many wonderful memories with my dad. He was so much fun and he'll always be like my superhero. But one of my very favorite memories was when we went swimming with these wild dolphins. So we were on this boat in the ocean and we were swimming and filming together, and it was so much fun. And I was really little. So we call them like little floaties. They're like little pillows that are on your arms because I was so little. I couldn't swim on my own yet and we were in the ocean. So I was swimming with my dad and I had my little floating pillows, and I was holding onto his shoulders and we were swimming around, and all of a sudden, as the sun set, these wild dolphins came swimming up to us and they started jumping over us. And I was holding on to my dad, and these dolphins kept coming up to us and they would look at us and make their little squeaking noises and jump over us. And it was the most amazing experience. And they were so curious of us. And it's forever one of my very favorite memories with my dad. I'm so glad we got to share that.
What is your favorite American food that they don't have in Australia?
Favorite American food? I love goldfish crackers.
I love goldfish too.
They're so good. Oh my word. And I tell people here in Australia how much I love goldfish crackers, and they either think I'm eating goldfish, which I'm not, or they think that the crackers are for goldfish. So they think I'm eating crackers that you feed to goldfish. I love goldfish crackers, and only people in the US understand my love for them. So thank you.
I'll send you some in the mail, Bindi.
I would love that. They are my favorites and I love them so much. And thank you.
Why are you so passionate about working with animals?
I am so passionate about working with animals because I love them so much, and I want to make sure that we have an abundance of wildlife for the generations to come. Animals are having a really hard time in the wild at the moment, with habitat destruction and climate change, and there's a lot going on and they're facing a lot of pressure. So I want to make sure that we can protect our beautiful wildlife and wild places forever, because it feels like my purpose in life. We all have a different purpose, and we're all passionate about different things, and that's why it's so special. But for me, I want to make sure that we have lots of animals forever, and that's why we've dedicated our lives to wildlife conservation. We call ourselves wildlife warriors, and being a wildlife warrior means to stand up and speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. And we've dedicated our lives to doing as much for conservation as we possibly can with our wildlife hospital that rescues and rehabilitates animals, with our conservation projects around the world, and our work here at Australia Zoo, educating and inspiring people to love all wildlife, even the not so cute and cuddly animals. It's really important to me. And I'm so passionate because I want to be able to give others that opportunity to love and respect our natural world. We all seem to be getting further and further away from that connection with nature, where we really need to gain that love and passion for our natural world again. I think it's really important because we're all on this planet together. We all share one Mother Earth, so it's important that we protect our beautiful Earth.
Now it's time for some bonus questions. Are you ready, Bindi?
Yes, I love bonus questions. I'm sitting down. I'm ready.
Okay. Question number 1. I interviewed Derek Huff the other day. What was it like being on Dancing with the Stars with him?
Yay, you interviewed Derek. I love Derek so much. He feels like my big brother. He is absolutely wonderful, and I had so much fun dancing with him. He is, firstly, an amazing dancer, but before I went on Dancing with the Stars, I had never danced before in my life. I had never even worn high heels before. The first time I put them on, I fell over flat on my face, and it was terrifying. I looked like a baby giraffe. If you've ever seen a baby giraffe walk for the first time, it is not graceful. So it was a long, long process, but because of Derek, because of his determination, kindness, and being there for me no matter what, he helped us to win the Mirrorball Trophy in that season. It was amazing. I still can't believe it happened, but it was so special. And he is so much fun. He is such a wonderful person. And I feel very, very lucky that he's now kind of part of my family.
You're a good dancer, Bindi.
Thank you, love. Do you like to dance?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're an amazing dancer too. It's so much fun.
What do you like to do for fun with your family when you're not working?
Oh, we see, our work is wildlife conservation. And then when we're not working, we pretty much just spend time with animals. It's really funny. But okay, if if we're not with animals and we're not in the zoo, we usually like to spend time together hiking or going for picnics out in nature. But normally we're just with animals doing animal things.
What's been a good piece of advice that you've given to you that you think might help me?
Ooh, the best piece of advice I think is to read everything. That advice was given to me and I love it so much because it has helped me throughout my entire life. The more you know about the world around you, the more experiences you can embark upon. I think it's really special. So if you can read everything and just find yourself the things that you love and follow your heart, truly. Like just do whatever you love the most in life and you will be able to undertake and accomplish anything. You know, it's so important to be able to follow your passions and follow your heart. And you are already doing so much. I mean, I love watching your videos. You are such an incredible journalist. You are amazing. You are so good. And your questions are absolutely wonderful. And I'm so grateful I got to talk to you today because you are going to change the world. And it's really inspiring to me to know you. So thank you. But yes, read as much as you can and do anything you want in life because you sky's the limit.
I love reading, so that's not
Good.
going to be a problem.
I'm so glad. Me too.
Thanks so much for talking with me today, Bindi.
Thank you so much. I've loved talking to you, and I hope that one day, I know it's going to be a while because the world's a little crazy right now, but one day you can visit us here in Australia and we will show you around Australia Zoo and make sure you get to cuddle some red pandas and koalas and everything because we would love to have you and your family here.
Don't forget I post a new interview every Thursday. And don't forget to check out the Australia Zoo if you're in Australia.
Woohoo! Thank you. We love you.
Tell the animals I said hi.
Absolutely. They are sending big cuddles right back. We're in our wildlife hospital at the moment, so I'll go cuddle them for you.
Good morning from me. Good afternoon to you.
Hi, thank you for talking with me today.
I'm so happy to. I feel like the Truman Show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Yep. It's snowing here, but it's probably way warmer there than here.
It's definitely the opposite of snowing. It's about 90 degrees and really warm and muggy and beautiful. So I'd love to have a snowball fight with you.
Well, some snow to you.
Thank you.
We get started with the questions? Well, should
Sure.
we get started with the interview intro thing?
Let's do the interview intro thing.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Hey guys, welcome back to 7 Questions with Emmy. I'm Emmy Ian, and today I'm chatting with Terri Irwin. She's the owner of the Australia Zoo and is dedicated to animal conservation. And you also can catch her and her kids, Robert and Bindi, and crikey, it's the Irwins. And I've interviewed Robert and Bindi too.
You're so cool. You got us all. You'll be interviewing Grace next, except she's 20 months old, so she doesn't say a lot of words.
I'll still interview her.
Oh, you're a good human being. Thank you.
Should we get started with the questions?
Let's do it, Emmy.
Question number 1. What is your favorite thing about running the Australia Zoo?
I think my very favorite thing about running Australia Zoo is that I get to live here with all of the animals. So Bindi and Chandler, Grace, Robert, and I all live where we can hear tigers roaring in the evening and we can hear the beautiful birds waking up every morning. And I feel really blessed. It's like living in the most beautiful place in the world.
Do you ever worry about getting so close to crocodiles or dangerous animals?
I think it's a good idea to be careful around dangerous wildlife, and you should worry a little bit. But once you learn the rules of animals, it's like learning the rules of driving. You wouldn't just hop in the car when you're a kid and drive to the store. You learn how to drive. And when you learn that crocodiles just live in the water and snakes are more afraid of you than you are of them, it helps you learn those rules so you can approach animals safely, kind of like driving.
Why are you so passionate about helping animals?
I think it's important to help animals and the environment because it all leads back to all of us. So if we've got beautiful wilderness areas and great drinking water and clean air, then ultimately it benefits ourselves. So it isn't just about protecting little woodland creatures. It's about making sure the planet's good for all of us.
You have 2 really awesome kids and now an adorable granddaughter. What do you like most about being a mom and a grandma?
I think being a mother and being a grandmother is the best part of my whole life. I think Bindi and Chandler are super, super good parents. Grace is a lucky little girl, and she's growing up at Australia Zoo, and she's just so fun. Loves wildlife, loves everything, likes to boop the koalas, and she really loves hanging out with the tortoises and just gets so excited about life every single day. And then Robert, of course, is now 19 years old, and he's a manager at Australia Zoo, and he's doing more work with crocodiles and his photography. He's got a new photography book out, and I'm just so proud that they've grown up to do what they love and that we still work together as a family.
Where did the idea to come from to open the Australia Zoo, and what is your favorite animal at the Australia Zoo?
Oh, well, I tell you, when Steve was a little boy, his parents decided to open what was then called the Queensland Reptile and Fauna Park because they wanted to make sure that they could afford their hobby, which was caring for wildlife. So they charged 60 cents, I think, for adults and 40 cents for kids way back then, just so they could help cover the costs of helping little animals. And then when Steve and I got married in 1992, we soon, in the next few years, changed the name of the zoo to Australia Zoo and grew it to the 700 acres that it is today. So it started small, but our intentions are still to help protect wildlife and wild places. And here at the zoo, I think my very favorite animal is DJ, the white rhino. DJ is so funny because he's this great big rhinoceros, but he kind of acts like a Labrador. He loves scratches and he'll lay down so you can scratch his belly. And he's like over 2 tons of animal and just hilarious and silly.
That's so funny. What can we do to help endangered animals?
I think we can all help wildlife. The biggest thing you can do is to not purchase wildlife products. So nobody wants to buy any leather from crocodiles or fur from wild animals or any kind of trinkets, because when the buying stops, then the killing can too. So we want to make sure no animals are hurt because the wildlife belongs in the wild. So that's the biggest thing you can do. But there's lots of things you can do every day to make a difference on the planet. You know, turn off the water while you brush your teeth and recycle and have a bird bath in your backyard. All these little things that you do add up to making great big changes. And we always say that Steve was one person who made a difference on the planet, and you can make a difference as well.
Have you ever been to Idaho and tried our famous potatoes?
I have been to Idaho. I will have to tell you, your potatoes are amazing. But the best part of visiting Idaho for me was when I was 8 years old. I stayed at a hotel that was near the zoo, and I could hear the lions at night. And when the lions would roar, they'd go, ow, really loud. And I thought, oh, it is so amazing to be sleeping where you can hear lions. And now every night I can hear the tigers make exactly the same sound. So I think my love for big cats started in Idaho, of all places. I love Idaho. It's a beautiful state and right next to my home state, Oregon.
you can come and stay at our house, and we can see you guys, and maybe you can bring an animal.
You know what? I think what I should do is just bring a tiger so we can all listen to one roar at night.
Okay, but we might need to put it in the backyard or something.
I think it would love your backyard. It's snowing.
So I have a couple of bonus questions. They might be a
Ooh,
little
bonus.
hard, but you lived in America and Australia. What is one food you can only get in America that you love, and one food you can only get in Australia that you love?
Okay, so I would say for Australia, it would be what we would call a savory pie. So like you can take anything you love, like veggies or anything, and cook it up in a nice pie with a pastry. And it's not like apple pie because it's savory. And it's really hard to get that in America. And I think I could make a list for American foods that I miss. So one of the things my sister does is she sends me the giant marshmallows and the chocolate and the the s'mores crackers.
Yeah.
Say it for me.
Graham crackers.
Graham crackers. See, I've been away from America for 30 years, so I'm losing my mind. Okay, and the graham crackers, and then we can make s'mores, which you can't really do here, obviously, because I forgot what graham crackers were called.
Yeah, but Bendy told me hers was goldfish.
Yeah, she does for real love the goldfish. And speaking of gingerbread, they're doing gingerbread goldfish for the Christmas season. So there's some intel you'll want to check out.
Your husband was an awesome guy who helped a lot of animals. What did you like the most about him?
I think what I love most about Steve was that he was just fun. He approached life like a kid, where you're just fascinated with everything. And he never got tired or bored or took anything for granted. He just loved every day. And he would be as amazed at a beetle on the front porch as an African elephant. He just marveled at everything. And I think it's so important to remember when we go through life to appreciate everything, even the little things, and not just get in the habit of, oh, this is what I do every day, but to marvel at all the little things like Steve did and to always try to make a difference. So by the end of the day, if you can do something kind for someone that makes their day better, then you're a little bit like Steve. Steve was always making us laugh and smile, and we were just amazed at everything he did. So I think we can all be a little bit like Steve.
Can you share a piece of advice that might help me or our viewers? Well, me and our viewers.
Yeah, I think it was interesting to me because my dad was a police officer for many, many years. And the thing he always taught me was an interesting saying. He said, question authority. And I thought, why would he say that when he was a police officer asking people to follow the law and not question? We can't have a discussion about whether or not you stop at the stoplight. You just have to stop there. But I've learned as I've gotten older that what that means is just because someone says this is the way it is, doesn't mean you can't question it. So we have a place called the Steve Irwin Wildlife Reserve, and it was in danger of having some very sensitive habitat mined. And while we do need mining in the world, we shouldn't mine everything. So instead of letting that happen, we questioned authority and we argued that this was such a sensitive place, it should be protected. And it was. So now the Steve Irwin Wildlife Reserve is one of the most protected places in the whole world. And that all happened, I think, because of that really good advice, which is question authority.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you, Emmy. It's been a real pleasure. And I'll let you know as soon as Grace is ready for her interview.
Okay. She just be able to answer a couple questions. We can shorten it down for her if she needs to.
Okay, we'll practice. Thank you, Emmy.
She just needs to say like one word. Maybe more than that. But
Okay, great. We'll work on that. We'll find her favorite word and we'll build those questions around it.
Thanks so much for watching. Remember, new 7 questions and interviews are posted every Thursday. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Love you guys. Bye.
Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community, and 7 questions with Emmy.